Hi, I'm Matt Shadetek. I'm a producer and DJ based in Brooklyn, New York. I'm also a Dubspot instructor. In this video, we're going to take a look at using the iPad as a second display. I'm going to focus on using it with Logic. I'm going to show you guys how to set it up and show you a couple of little workflow ideas that I had for working with it. One of the ideas that I have is using an arpeggiator in the environment and creating some touchscreen controls for that. And so I'm actually going to show you guys how I set up the arpeggiator in the second video in this series. The application that I'm using is an app called Air Display. This is something you can download from the App Store. It costs $10 when we film this video. And what it'll allow you to do is to connect your iPad wirelessly to your Mac and use it as a second display. So I'm going to launch the app here. This is going to bring us to the setup screen. What it's going to ask us to do is to download some software for your Mac. This is going to be the Air Display driver. You're going to go to avitron.com/d. And actually, when you hit that page, it's just going to automatically start downloading the drivers for you. You're going to open them up, unzip them, and follow the install instructions. I'm not going to go through those here because they're pretty straightforward. Once you've got that set up, then you're going to restart your computer, and you're going to find that there's a little Air Display menu that now appears in your Mac menu bar. And here now, you're going to choose to turn Air Display on if it's not on already. And then it's going to show you a list of available devices via Wi-Fi. So what's important here is that you make sure that your iPad and your laptop or desktop computer are connected to the same Wi-Fi network. Now, if you are working somewhere where there isn't Wi-Fi available, what you can do is you can use what's called an ad hoc network, which means that you create a network just between the two devices. So, for example, your laptop can create an ad hoc network. We've done a video on that on the Dubspot YouTube channel in our Touch OSC setup. So refer to that video for the ad hoc setup instructions. Now, assuming we've got them both connected to the same Wi-Fi network, we've got the Air Display installed, we should just be able to turn it on, select our iPad. In this case, my iPad, Shadetek's iPad, has been selected. And then what you'll see is over here now, we see this like little galaxies appeared, and now I can actually move my mouse between my main display, my laptop display, and the iPad. Now, the really cool thing about this is that the iPad also becomes a touchscreen mouse, right? So we can click and drag. For example, I can move my mouse around on here. Now, one of the things that's worth noting, and that you'll probably notice just in watching me do this, is that there's a little bit of latency here. So it's not just like a lightning quick connection. So it's not perfect for anything that's like super timing sensitive, but I like to use this in a couple of different ways. Obviously, these are just limited to your imagination. I'm sure you guys can think up some cool stuff to do with this as well. What I came up with was using it for the arrange window, using it for the mixer, and also for controlling the environment using the touchscreen functionality. So the first thing we'll look at is just using the arrange. For example, let's say I'm working in the arrange here. I've got my track going in the arrange, but I want to have the mixer available just as a kind of visual reference. So what I'm going to do is just go up here to Window, open up a new floating mixer window, right? And then we can just take that and drag it over here to the iPad. Now what we can do is we can kind of monitor our levels, make sure nothing is clipping, see visually what's going on. Now I'll give it a quick playback here, and you'll see the movement of the VU meters is not going to be totally seamless because of the latency. So, just be aware of that. But you can see it's kind of moving there in time, and we can see what's going on. Just play a little piece of the beat here. This is one idea, right? And so my kind of general workflow for this, because of the latency, is that I will use whatever I'm not currently using intensely on the iPad, right? So I'm working in the arrange, I'll put the mixer up on the iPad. Now, another idea is to work vice versa, right? So we can pull up another copy of the arrange window here just by pressing Command 1 or going to the window menu. And this is particularly useful when I'm mixing, right? Because I like to have my mixer up full screen. So what I can do is I can use up, especially on a laptop where we have a slightly small display, I can have a full screen display of the mixer, but still be able to do things like if I want to highlight different tracks on the iPad using the touch control, see visually what's going on in the arrangement. You know, if I wanted to use the transport controls, you'll see here, once we start to try to click on things that are small, it's like a little fiddly. There we go. So, you know, I would use it for more kind of broad stroke stuff, just like changing tracks. But as you can see, when I highlight a track on the iPad, that track becomes highlighted in the mixer on the main display. So that's kind of cool. Now, the third use that I kind of was playing around with here, which is to use the touchscreen capability of the iPad and Air Display to control things in the environment. And so let's pull up. I created a little environment setup here. Let's just pull up an environment window. You can push Command 8 or choose it from the menu. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the mouse here, slide my mouse over to the iPad. And this is just like working with two monitors, right? If you've ever worked on a two-monitor setup, it's going to be a similar configuration. Choose the clicks and ports layer here. Now, the environment is divided into layers. The layer that I'm going to be using is the clicks and ports. And we actually do a full discussion of this in the 6-level logic course for Dubspot and Dubspot Online. I'm just going to kind of show you a couple little things here quickly. I'll demonstrate them in this video, and then I'll show you the more in-depth setup in the next video of how I actually created the arpeggiator and so on. But the basic idea here is, let me just pull my arrange back up on the main screen. I'll just loop my intro here. And using the caps lock keyboard, I can trigger drum hits, right? Let's find a closed hat. We'll just use this one. So what I've done is I've set up an arpeggiator in here, which is going to arpeggiate the MIDI input. So now if I play, so we're getting this very fast arpeggiation, and I've made these buttons here where I can control the speed of the arpeggiator using the touchscreen on the iPad. You could do a lot of things with this. You could have it control the rate of an LFO in a synthesizer. You could have it control different effect sends. This is kind of the fun thing about the environment, is it's really just limited to your imagination what you want to control. And the cool thing about it is that we can create different sized buttons. So for example, in the iPad, as you could see, you know, when I was trying to click on the transport with my fingers, you know, it's a little small, right? But in the environment, we can size things up to make them nice and big and clickable. So, you know, here's a couple of workflow ideas for using Air Display on an iPad as a second monitor with Logic. This is not limited to Logic. You could do this on whatever software application you want to use. And so for everybody who uses different DAWs or other software, please give this a try. If you'd like to learn more about Logic, you can check out our full 6-level course at Dubspot in New York City or via Dubspot Online at dubspot.com. And if you'd like to learn more about me, you can check me out at mattshadetek.com, and I'm also on SoundCloud. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to Dubspot. We believe in providing you hands-on experience right away. Whether you're completely new to music and want to turn the sounds in your head into a musical reality, or you're an experienced artist looking to refine your skills and add new tools to your arsenal, we're ready to meet you at your level. For students of all ages, all levels, and all styles of music, Dubspot is here to help you achieve your goals. With course offerings both online wherever you are and at our school in the heart of New York City, we are ready to guide you through the next phase of your musical transformation. Whether you want to produce music, DJ, or do both, you've come to the right place. Come explore Dubspot for yourself, become a part of our community, and make music.